Hogwarts Legacy on broomstick. This is the character that I've been playing with his beautiful Merlin's cloak. I have to say I'm quite a big fan of it. And we are flying on the kind of default broom, which just has a slight aesthetic change in that there is a fire or ember effect on the bristles of the broomstick, which I think looks kind of cool. I think we can all admit that fire obviously makes it go faster. The stats in the game don't say so, but I'm sure they do. That's how it works. I'm fairly sure, right? If you enjoy this video, please do consider leaving a like. It really helps out the I've just remembered. Can you guys remember? I'm so proud of myself that I've remembered the name of this mystical, magical beast. Let me know in the comments if you remember it. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Buckbeak. That's the scene it reminds me of when Buckbeak's toe or claw is skimming the surface of the Great Lake next to and surrounding Hogwarts. And Harry Potter sort of sits up on his back and starts shouting like "Way" or something. I saw a chest there, just making sure you guys know I did see it. I decided not to collect it because I didn't want to get off the broom and sort of put a pause on the whole broom flight aspect of this video. But we're flying underneath and around the huge rock formations that hold up Hogwarts and its foundations. These windows, I don't know what is behind them. Maybe some sort of dungeon type area, but I can't think off the top of my head where that would be. Over in the distance is the tower, the building we're approaching now, and it's a very old tower. I thought initially it might have been, actually, it might be the Owlry. I was initially thinking it was this very old tower, which is a quest point for an early game quest on Hogwarts Legacy, but the number of owls that are flying around it makes me suspect it's actually the Owlry. I'm not sure. There is a mongrel prowling around that area, which is why we had a dueling feat pop up, but I've turned off all the animal sounds because they can bark quite loudly, and once again I didn't want that to disturb our journey together. But again, we are flying around the outskirts of the world. There are a number of areas that I'm yet to discover in Hogwarts Legacy. And so these are all areas that, for the most part, I've explored relatively extensively. With the broom you can access areas that you otherwise really wouldn't be able to. And as you can see, you are able to obtain views that are just absolutely beautiful. I think that might in fact be the thumbnail, if I can remember to take a screenshot at that time when I make the thumbnail for this video. I'm sure that's what you guys have seen and clicked on. But whenever you stop and take a breath and have a look around, there pretty much always is something to see in Hogwarts Legacy. And now, on that line of thought, we see 3 wizards who are doing some kind of, 4 wizards, doing some kind of magical kite flying. In all honesty, they look like normal kites. Maybe are they very slightly flapping their wings? Would that be some sort of magical? I don't know what the limitations of real experts, feel free to let us know in the comment section how that's working. We're taking a descent down in and around the Quidditch Pitch now. There's a few students milling around on the lawn, talking and doing a few practices of curses and charms and all that. But we seem to really be the only ones who are practicing our broom flight. And I thought I'd take a trip around the bleachers of the Hogwarts Pitch. I didn't realise that the stands wrapped around the entirety of the pitch without, entirely seamlessly through archways of blue, green, red and orange and yellow, obviously representing all of the different houses of Hogwarts Legacy and the world of Harry Potter in general. Underneath the Ravenclaw one, the Slytherin house, Gryffindor and Hufflepuff. And I think this area is really just generally so beautiful. The flags on the heads of the mast, they flutter very, very gently, and I'm not actually sure if that changes from time to time or with changes in the weather. I know that there are definitely weather cycles in the game, so I would be interested to come back here and fly up and have a look when it starts raining, or if the wind turns or something, to see if those flags really start fluttering away in the wind. But we're making our way back to the lofty heights of Hogwarts, the ancient turrets and archways that make up the upper levels of Hogwarts. In the distance, I just absolutely love the mountains and hills of the Scottish Highlands. It's an area that I have never visited personally, despite living in the UK all my life. I have never actually visited Scotland at all, which is actually rather shameful of me. Quite sad to say that, actually. I would like to visit this area of the world at some point in my life, and I say area of the world, of course that is true, of course it is, but it's relatively speaking right on my doorstep, so hopefully I can find the time to him legitimately seeing an NPC or something. Next time I notice him doing it when I'm idle, I'm going to try my very best to turn in that general direction to see if there actually is an NPC there, or whether that's just some sort of time-based reaction or action that he does. But the sun is very much on its way down, the clouds turning a beautiful hue of magenta and blue. A soft haze is falling over the upper hills and mountains behind Hogwarts as we see it now, and it seems like a good a time as any to slowly drift forward back to the castle. I spent a good 3/4 of an hour just recording this nice, slow flyby of the area, and I like to make these videos as long as possible because I feel like that is what I like to watch when, or put on when I'm going to sleep or doing a bit of work. I like my ASMR videos to be of a good length so that I don't have to put them back on or choose another video if I haven't already fallen asleep by the end of it, or if I'm working on something I can just not have to deal with finding another video. But I do recognise that some of you really love the exploration aspect of these videos, and so perhaps you would like slightly shorter videos, which is why this one is going to be just a tiny bit shorter. Well, no, it's going to be significantly shorter than the last one. I just noticed that my player waved off in the distance again, and seeing as we are floating a few feet off probably the highest point, external point in the castle, I find it very hard to believe that he has just seen an NPC, as if we now, just by luck, are looking briefly off in the direction that I was waving, there is absolutely nowhere that he could have seen another player, so I think that's quite unlikely. We're now drifting slowly off into the distance. We see Hogsmead, and the lovely path that leads to it is quite clearly lit up by several fire lanterns, which seem to be about 20 meters apart each, leading all the way, twisting and winding up to the main entrance to Hogsmead. Obviously, as I said, we can't actually enter Hogsmead, which I think is quite a shame, but if you guys would like a tour of Hogsmead or a sort of slow exploration of the area, I will get off the broom at some point at the entrance at the end of this path in another video, and we can explore by foot. It's a beautiful, whimsical, cozy area. In fact, I would say 50% of the time, maybe even more, when you arrive at Hogsmead, your player will say a pre kind of determined line. I think it says, "Is there any place cozier than Hogsmead?" I think that's what he says, and those kind of slowly walked paths. And whilst I understand that people love to walk, I'm surprised that you don't see more students just flying from place to place. But I mean, that could quite easily be something that isn't really allowed in the wizarding world as much as we're doing, so